Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. I'm kind of thirsty, as you can see here. I have my little cup from Wawa. I thought I'd get a drink before I get started. Hey, we'll do a little something fun here to start things off. I filled that cup up earlier today. I will give a drink from Wawa, maybe not this big, but a drink from Wawa, any drink you want to, from Wawa, to whoever can tell me the day I made this episode. And the same day I made this episode is when I filled up that cup at Wawa. Okay? So if you can give me the date, you don't have to give me the time that I filled up the thing. Just tell me the date. And a Wawa drink is yours for the taking. All right? So we're talking about, in Genesis, we're talking about Joseph. We're spending 3 episodes on chapter 37 here. Today I wanted to start by reading James 3:16, okay? And it says this: "For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder and every evil practice." Okay? And that's really the title of today's episode, okay? For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder and every evil practice. We're continuing on this in the story of Joseph here. And Joseph has revealed to his brothers these great dreams, okay? And there is jealousy there and selfish ambition from his brothers. And you're going to see it doesn't turn out real well here, okay? And there's disorder and every evil practice. Every evil is practiced in the story. So we're going to read today Genesis chapter 37, verses 12 through 33, okay? And again, today I'm wearing my Joseph robe, because when Joseph goes to his brothers, what we're going to read here, he's wearing this robe, okay? And it was some translations say coat of many colors, okay? And I got my coat of many colors here. And or some would say like a robe with sleeves on it, okay? This would be a robe not for the working man, but for the one who is in management, okay? And you're going to see that his brothers could see him coming from a long way off. So they were like, oh, here comes Joseph. And you can tell it's him by the fancy robe he's wearing, okay? So you'll see it here today when we read this. All right, so let's read. Now his brothers had gone to graze their father's flocks near Shechem. We had read that several chapters ago, how he was staying near Shechem, okay? And Israel said to Joseph, "As you know, your brothers are grazing their flocks near Shechem. Come, I'm going to send you to them." "Very well," he replied. So he said to him, "Go and see if all is well with your brothers and with their flocks, and bring word back to me." Then he sent him off from the valley of Hebron. Remember here, Joseph is the youngest brother of all these guys. So that's not like having your dad send your little brother to check on you and manage your sheep herding skills, all right? They're not going to take too kindly to that. When Joseph arrived at Shechem, a man found him wandering around in the fields and asked him, "What are you looking for?" He replied, "I'm looking for my brothers. Can you tell me where they are grazing their flocks?" "Oh, they've moved on from here," the man answered. "I heard them say, 'Let's go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan. But they saw him in the distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. Right there, he's coming, and they can see him from a distance. He's got his robe on, okay? And they're like, we don't like to see this guy. Let's get rid of him. Verse 19, "Here comes that dreamer," they said to each other. "Come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams." When Reuben heard this, he tried to rescue him from his hands. "Let's not take his life," he said. "Don't shed any blood. Throw him into the cistern here in the wilderness, but don't lay a hand on him." Reuben said this to rescue him from them and take him back to his father. Okay? This is a little confusing to me because where did we hear about Reuben earlier? We heard about Reuben earlier because he was sleeping with his father's concubine. Actually, the mother of some of the guys here, some of these other brothers here. He was sleeping with it. And he was doing this really out of spite for his father. Okay? So he does this, and Jacob doesn't say anything about it, but Jacob knows this has happened. And we'll talk about it in the future, what Jacob will happen to it. He ends up cursing Reuben. So this is going on. So it's confusing as to why all of a sudden Reuben is like, hey, we need to not hurt Joseph. Like he was trying to get at his dad earlier, and now he's trying to protect his relationship with Joseph and his dad. So anyway, it's maybe a change of heart with Reuben here. All right, verse 23. So Joseph came to his brothers. They stripped him of his robe, the ornate robe he was wearing, and they took him and threw him into the cistern. The cistern was empty. There was no water in it. As they took him down to eat their meal, they looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Their camels were loaded with spices, balm, and myrrh, and they were on their way to take them down to Egypt. Okay, Ishmaelites, remember, sons of Abraham. Okay, but they were going to be wandering around. They're not settled down in the promised land, that's for sure. Judah said to his brothers, "What will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him. After all, he is our brother and our own flesh and blood." His brothers agreed. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up from the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn to now?" Then they got Joseph's robe and slaughtered a goat and dipped the robe in the blood. They took the ornate robe back to his father and said, "We found this. Examine it to see if it is your son's robe." He recognized it and said, "It is my son's robe. Some ferocious animal must have devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces." Okay. Those last verses that I read there talk about slaughtering a goat to deceive their father. So what they did here is they slaughtered the goat, put the blood all over the robe, and then took it back to the father. Where else has the slaughter of goat been used for deceit? Okay, it was used for deceit earlier on by Jacob. Jacob would have had to have killed the goat to deceive his father, if you remember, when he was trying to deceive his father and get the blessing, the birthright, from Esau. Okay, and so he used that deceit. So two very similar things here. Using the goat, blood. You would use the blood naturally, but using the goat as deceit. In Jacob's case, he was using the skin and putting it on his arms to deceive his father. And in this case, they were using the blood and sprinkling it all over the coat to deceive their father. Very interesting. But it all goes back to James, what we're pointing out today. For where you have envy and selfish ambition, which was happening all over the place in this story, there you find disorder and every evil practice. Okay, they weren't even orderly in how they were trying to, to do all this evil. They were just coming up with stuff off the top of their heads, like, "Oh, hey, here comes the Ishmaelites. Hey, wait a minute. We can actually make some money off this deal. Not just kill him, but let's make some money off him. So let's sell him as a slave." So all kinds of disorder and every evil practice was happening. Let's not have that happen in our lives. If you're governed by envy and selfish ambition, there's disaster waiting for you. Okay? Thanks for watching. I'm a regular dude walking in the Word, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through the book of Genesis. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.